All right, let's get it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on into today's Sixers game recap as we are discussing last night's absolute thriller. This was playoff basketball. This was grade A entertainment. If you're not a fan of the Sixers or the Grizzlies, you had to have loved this basketball game. That's how good it was. Obviously, you have a lot of star power on both sides. Joel Embiid, James Harden. You got John Moran, Jaren Jackson on the other side. Really good players in this league. And the Sixers won a game tonight where, look, right now, if you look at the landscape of Philly sports, right, everyone in Philadelphia is still reeling off of the Birds. The Sixers, everyone still is lingering off that second round, and it's the question, the dying question, can the Sixers get out of that second round? So right now, the state of the Philly sports fan, they are just so pessimistic on the Philadelphia 76ers because of what they have done in the last couple years, and plus, we're still a little heartbroken over the Super Bowl. What I want to say, though, about this performance, this is the type of performance in which the reason why I tell you guys to not panic, to relax. It is just the regular season. And by the way, the main issues that the Sixers really do have right now are defensively. The offense is fine. The offense will be fine in the playoffs. What you really need to concern yourself is with the down and dirty work. And going up against a Memphis Grizzlies team who really make it their cornerstone of their franchise with this current iteration of the Grizzlies. They are a get it done, gritty. They grind it out. Their blue collar is all hell. Let's put it this way, if they were a Philadelphia 76ers team, they would be beloved, one of the most beloved teams of all time, the way the Grizzlies team plays. So this was a perfect test for the Sixers because that is the way the Sixers need to play more of. Offensively, they're fine. They need to get those boards. They need to be better on transition defense. And just straight up, obviously, it's tough to defend players one-on-one these days in the NBA. Everyone's freaking talented. Everyone can really score, and the rules do obviously help offensive players. But you saw a lot of good things on last night. And obviously, I want to apologize, everyone. We're doing this this morning. I did gradually watch the game over the last, 14 hours. So obviously this week it's been really hectic with the start of the MLS season. So we've been really grinding and dedicating this week towards the Union. Our priority is the Union because it's the start of the season and it's only right. And someone has to talk about the Philadelphia Union in this city. And obviously, I'm kidding. We have great people who cover this cover the team. But so obviously the Sixers, Flyers, Phillies mostly obviously have been put on the back burner. Once this week is done, we get the first game underway. Things will start going copacetic again. Next week we'll bring in some more Phillies talk. We'll start doing some weekly Phillies talk as well, while we also keep an eye out on the Sixers and the Flyers, and of course the Union begin their season this upcoming Saturday as well. Mac McClung got to ring the bell here tonight. Obviously, he's a Philly legend right now. So it was really cool to see. It was really cool to see Mac McClung get some love. He got a 10-day contract so far, so I think a lot of us would like to see him on this roster. I'm a little curious. I'm not going to lie to you. I realize that it's just a story, right? I don't think Mac McClung will have like a 20 or 15-year NBA career, great role player, all that hunky-dory stuff. Listen, I hope for it, but I'm not really buying into it too much. So it is a good story right now. And he's a really talented dunker, and let's just ride the story for as long as we can. And that's the Sixers game. Welcome everyone, Sixers game recap. If you guys are new here, welcome on in. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. We talk Philly sports all the time, so make sure you guys stay tuned and never miss out on any of this content here. So a 110-105 win for the Sixers. The big story here is the Sixers were down for the entirety of this game, essentially. For the first three quarters, Memphis really came in here motivated and wanted to get a big W. They realized that this is a really good team, and Memphis has really had our number, honestly, since the process was over. And especially, we all know, I think we're actually still haven't won in Memphis. I'll have to double check, but we haven't won in Memphis in a while. But since we have been coming up since the process days, they have also been coming up. They've done a really good job of drafting. You look at some of their core players. You look at Ja Morant. You look at Jaren Jackson, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, Xavier Tillman. You saw David Roddy here tonight, which we'll talk about in just a second. But a lot of homegrown talent that they drafted and they have developed and cultivated. That's what makes the Grizzlies such a great team because These are all guys that kind of have been counted out. I mean, you got John Morant went to Weber State or Murray State. I forget the college that he went to. I think Weber was Dame, and I think Murray was Ja, if I'm not mistaken. Desmond Bane, TCU product. Dylan Brooks, I think he was like a late first, early second round pick. Jaren Jackson was a little bit higher up, but if I remember that draft correctly, a lot of people believe that the Grizzlies should have not gone with Jaren Jackson, but they obviously made the right choice. So they all play with the chip on their shoulder. So coming into this matchup, a playoff team, they were ready and they won. They showed up and treated this game like the playoffs, and I don't think the Sixers did in the beginning. Then you got Desmond Bane chirping a little bit. He's chirping at James Harden, trying to get in his head. There was a little bit of a scrum early, like in the first quarter. There was a scrum, and they had to separate everybody. Of course, you saw Dylan Brooks. Even Dylan Brooks was even trash talking Doc Rivers. This guy already gets enough from Sixers faithful. He doesn't need to hear from you, Dylan Brooks. But you got John Moran and Jaren Jackson smiling, giggling, and having all a bunch of fun. Desmond Bane he's literally Bane. If anyone who watches Batman, he's literally Bane. He's freaking yoked as all hell. I don't know how honestly, this is my first time I've seen Desmond Bane this season. He's definitely shredded a little or slimmed down a little bit. He was just way too bulky. He was looking more like a linebacker than he was a shooting guard. So he slimmed down a little bit, but his game is still freaking there. It doesn't matter how yoked he is. But even they're freaking deep. Obviously, line up John Moran, Bane, Clark, Brandon Clark, who got the start here tonight because no Steven Adams, which was big for the Sixers as well. This game may be a little bit different if Steven Adams plays because we know how great of a rim protector he is. Jaren Jackson and Dylan Brooks. And then you got like Xavier Tillman, who's a solid role player, kind of a swing wingman there. Santi Almada, John Conchar, never heard of these guys. They provided some good wing depth there. And Tyus Jones didn't get too many minutes here. And then, of course, David frickin' Roddy. Here's the thing. David Roddy looks like he's going to be a solid role player, wing player that plays some defense. He's very physical. I think he does need to slim down. But I'm not going to do this thing where we always are like, oh, maybe we should have made that trade. Obviously, if you didn't know, he was part of the DeAnthony Melton trade. And look, I'm happy with DeAnthony Melton. I think DeAnthony Melton provides something that we did need, some shooting and some defense. I would like DeAnthony to be a little more consistent, but hey, playoffs, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to make my judgment right now, but I'm okay with the trade that we made. Okay, we needed to make that trade. We needed to get a younger shooter who could play some more defense, and that's what we got, essentially. So I'm definitely happy about that. So, like I mentioned, game that Memphis pretty much controlled for the first three quarters. And then the Sixers slowly started to come back. 6 minutes left into the fourth quarter. It is still a 10-point game. And the Sixers go on a 7-0 run in like the first, I believe, like 30 seconds after that 6-minute mark. And they start cutting down the lead. Then you saw a lot throughout this game, and I believe Reggie Miller called it a 5-1 high pick screen. You had Joel and James in the circle at the foul line, right? Pretty much at the foul line, and they were both running a pick, and Tyrese was kind of running as the roll man. And on the Tobias Harris 3 that got them down into making it a 1-point game, you ran that play. And it got Tyrese Maxey freed up going down the lane, and Joel with the great bounce pass, and Tyrese with great vision, knowing Tobias Harris was wide open at the corner, kind of shoves it over there, and that's when Tobias hit it. But that play was very successful because you just don't know what's going to come out of it. You can have James turn into the roller and Tyrese pull back up to the 3-point line. You can have Joel pull back. You have so many different options, so many different things that you can do with that. And I thought that was a really good wrinkle that Doc has added into the offense. I know a lot of people have hard words with Doc or not happy with Doc, fired Doc, and this and that. And I get that, but that was a really good play that he did draw up there. And, of course, you got the Joel Embiid block. And between Joel, James hitting. Dude, how about that 3 James hit in the corner at the corner 3 spot? Dude, there was like 2 guys on him. It was similar to the Kawhi Leonard 3. Dude, that was freaking nice. And between James and Joel, Tobias also added some big buckets at the end. PJ Tucker with his boarding at the end as well. And that really made the difference. The Sixers were determined. Sixers turned it up when they needed it most. And they stuck with it, which is most important. I know that throughout the season, and honestly, throughout this Doc Rivers tenure, this is a game that the Sixers would have lost. but they came all the way back and won it. And they won it essentially in the way that Memphis plays. Desmond Bane is out here talking all this crap at the beginning of the first quarter. He's getting everyone riled up. Jaren Jackson and John Morant feel really comfortable about something. They thought they had the win. And the Sixers took that personally. And they stuck with the game plan. And they slowly, methodically climbed all the way back and got the damn lead. And ladies and gentlemen, I know we're all down on the Sixers because of the state of Philly sports and, of course, because of what the Sixers have done over the past couple of years. But that's the life we all chose. We can't just harp on the past. We got to move forward. All right, this is a new season. And this is the type of win. This is why I said at the beginning of this. This is the type of win that makes you feel better about this team in the playoffs when that time comes. This isn't the same team as last year or the year prior. This is a different team. And this is a team, especially with Joel Embiid, your biggest piece, who, by the way, he's getting a little bit older. He has more experience in the playoffs. I think it's crazy as well that Joel Embiid is in the midst of a scoring title. A center in 2023. It's all about the goddamn wingers. It's all about the goddamn guard. It's all about the goddamn three-point line. And Joel Embiid is about to freaking win the scoring title. I hope he does. I don't think he will. I think Luka will win it. But that is still remarkable that he's doing that. And he was a big part of this victory here tonight. Making the plays. He had 6 blocks. All right. Those blocks really instilled a lot of energy into the center. And then, of course, James Harden was just on fire as well. James led the team in scoring with 31 points. He was 62 from the field, 66% from the three-point line, and he was possessed as well. I think Dillon Brooks really got under his skin, and I really think that's the one that he drove the most. Like I mentioned, Tobias Harris made some big threes. He was 4 for 7 here from the three-point line. He really contributed here when we really needed it the most. Tyrese Maxey added 16 points here. I like he got his braids retwisted. They look clean. They look crisp. I fucks with it. I fucks with it, Tyrese. And so look, when your star players step up in the way they did and they played good defense, and obviously Memphis really didn't do us some favors. They really missed some big shots. John Morant missing some layups that he typically does make. And so Sixers really did a great job. One point I wanted to make, Tyrese Maxey's defense is still an issue. A lot of the topic before the game was, I see the starting lineup go on Twitter, and the minute I go right to the comments because I like to giggle. And this one really got me a giggle because we are still bitching and complaining about the fact that Tyrese Maxey's not starting game in and game out. I don't understand why this is a problem here. When Tyrese Maxey in the fourth quarter is guarding Desmond Bane, he's getting pushed around. He got lost. In one of the key possessions, Desmond Bane makes one of the shots like 3 minutes left into the game, right? And Tyrese Maxey does a great job of sticking with Desmond Bane. And then once Desmond Bane misses the shot, Tyrese Maxey gets lost, starts floating away. And then Desmond Bane gets his own board. And then he steps back a little bit, and then he pulls away a fadeaway. And you know what Joel Embiid does? He yells at Tyrese Maxey. You know why? Because why are you going to give up on a play? The play's not over. We don't have possession of the ball. Love Tyrese Maxey. I think he brings great effort. He just needs to continue working on that defense. It's all it is. That's really all it is. And so when we still continue to complain about the starting lineup, why? Number one, DeAnthony Melton plays better defense than Tyrese Maxey. And DeAnthony Melton is hot. This is a cold game. Is hot and cold. You may get a 20-point game from him, or you may not. But I know I'm going to get solid defense from him. That's why I don't complain about that. And oh, by the way, you know what the starting lineup was at the end of the game? Joel Embiid at the 5, PJ Tucker at the 4, Tobias at the 3, Tyrese Maxey at the 2, and James Harden at the 1. That was your starting lineup for the last 2 to 3 minutes of this basketball game. So stop complaining. It really does not matter who starts in this for this team. It really doesn't. It matters how you finish this game. And Sixers got the dub. Sixers got the dub. So let's not complain about the starting lineup here. But again, that was a super entertaining game. That game should make you guys feel better. Now, we still have like 20 so games left, right? And so there's still plenty of time for the Sixers to work out the defense. The defense is still an issue. Obviously, you don't want to allow 105 points. You don't want to be down 10 points for most of this basketball game. But I do think that the Sixers are definitely heading in the right direction. And you're going to have a tough schedule as well here. And it's going to really test the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, Boston tomorrow. You got Miami on Monday, Miami on Wednesday in the back-to-back, Dallas Thursday, Milwaukee Saturday. And then you got Indiana on the following Monday. That's a playoff team right there. That's a really tough week. And we're going to learn a lot about this basketball team. But if they split this week, we shouldn't be freaking out. It's what happens in these games. What tonight showed me, what this season has showed me throughout spurts of it, is this Sixers team can get out the second round. Anything can happen. If we have watched the last championships here in Philadelphia, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the MLS Cup, all a championship failure can take is a bad holding call in the Super Bowl. A Jordan Alvarez home run in game 6. A no by the pitching staff of Houston in game 4. I'm sorry. Gareth Bale coming in the 118th minute and dashing the Union Dreams. That's all it takes. So give yourself a chance, and that's all it is. Again, Sixers are back at it again tomorrow, 8:30, big one at home against the Boston Celtics while the Union are playing. Philly Sports doubleheader. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching, guys. That's going to do it for today. Again, the Sixers beat the Memphis Grizzlies on primetime TNT Basketball Thursday night, 110 to 105, and we're off against Boston. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe for more Philly sports. Until next time, I am Parcero Philly, and I'm telling you guys, let's go Philly Sports.